Today, I wanted to take just a few minutes and talk about integrity, what it is, and who cares. Integrity is basically just following through with what we say we're going to do, um, and that's in a nutshell all that integrity is. It's something that can be much easier said than done, um, especially when we have phrases like, "Hey, just give me a second." Well, we're not actually asking for a second. We're asking for a very short amount of time, but probably not a second. It can also be very difficult to 100% follow through with integrity when life just comes at us. We never know when something's going to come up that we weren't planning for. That could take a lot of additional time. But if we said that we're going to be somewhere and we're not, regardless of the reason, that could be a break of integrity. So to illustrate why this can be incredibly important, I'm going to go back to Jack and Jill. Right? So let's say Jack and Jill's relationship was a little bit strained. Um, Jill was having a hard time trusting Jack, and Jack was just he was swamped at work. He felt overwhelmed. He was getting burned out. When he came home, he just didn't want to have to do all this additional work at home as well. And he was busy. He started forgetting he had to do this and that, and uh, everything just kept piling up on Jack, and it was all he could do. He His wife Jill was getting really frustrated because he kept saying, "Yep, I'll take care of this and that and that," and he kept forgetting and he kept not following through. That's a lack of integrity, and that can be very easy to happen. It can also be incredibly stressful and damaging to relationships. I mean, how many people at work end up getting fired because of a lack of integrity? They don't follow through with job expectations or things like that. Relationships can be tremendously stressed as a result of that type of lack of integrity. Um, so, how can integrity help? Why should we care about that? Well, integrity is basically just following through on what we say we're going to do, and having that integrity builds trust. It helps other people know that they can count on us and depend on us, and it also strengthens what we say. If simply when we say yes, we will, we absolutely will, and when we say no, we won't, we absolutely won't, that can make conversations a lot easier. Once people learn that, um, they don't have to hover over us as much to verify, hey, are you actually going to do this? And they don't have to possibly nitpick, or if our no can very easily become a yes, then they're going to be more likely to try to change our minds. Having that integrity, yes is yes, and a no is no, can make conversations a lot easier, a lot more straightforward. Um, it can add to a sense of freedom. It can significantly improve relationships because there's that trust there as well. So back to Jack and Jill. Despite being swamped with a lot going on at work, a lot going on at home, Jack realized that he needed to stay by his commitments. I needed to live with integrity. He stopped saying, "Yep," or "Sure, I'll get to that eventually," and instead whenever he was asked to do something, was very intentional about how he was going to schedule that, about where that was going to go. If he couldn't do it, he would just be very upfront about it. I can't get to until 2 weeks from now. People weren't always happy with that, especially when they thought that he was just kind of punting it down the road like he seemed to be doing before. But once 2 weeks came around, and Jack was actually following through with that, people started to notice and realized he was a lot more organized. That they could count on him to get things done. Same thing with his wife. She didn't have near as much stress or frustration because she realized that when Jack says he's going to take care of something, he absolutely will, and she could start to trust him again. And her workload, her felt sense of stress, just dissipated. As a result, Jack's time at work was a lot easier, a lot more enjoyable. Same thing with his time at home. Instead of it seeming like everyone was against him, living with integrity allowed for the feeling, the sense that everyone was there to help and support him as well. So integrity can be very important. It's simply following through with what we say we're going to do. Um, but it's something that a lot of people care about. Even if we don't talk about it, a lot of people do care about it very much. And living with integrity can have a significant impact on what we do at home, at work, in our day to day life.